Hi guys. So today we will discuss about rational function. A function of the form Rx equals to Px over Qx, where Px and Qx, where Px and Qx are both polynomials. And Qx is not equal to 0. If Qx equal to 0, then Rx will be undefined. So the examples, fx equals to 1 over x, very simple rational function. Fx equals to 1 over x squared, or fx equals to 3x squared minus 3x minus 6 over x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay, so today we will grab the simple rational function fx equals to 1 over x, which is also called reciprocal function. Okay, so graph fx equals to 1 over x, and this function a reciprocal function. Well, when x equals to 0, this function is undefined, so 0 cannot be the value of x, and obviously the domain is set of all non-zero real number. So this is negative infinity comma 0 union 0 comma positive infinity. Okay, so let's make a table for the x sign y value, which is y equal to fx. This is equal to 1 over x. So if you look here, let's say you guys know when the value of x is 0, so this is undefined, right? So let's see what will happen as x approaches to 0. So if I have, let's say the value of x is 1 over 10, so what will be the y value? So this is 1 over 10, which is 10, right? And if I have a value of x is negative 1 over 10, it's pretty much the same thing, right? Because when I plug in negative 1 over 10 here, so I will get the y value is negative 10. And if I plug in, let's say 1 over 100, which is 0.01, right? Then my y value, it will be 100, excuse me. And similarly, if I plug in negative 1 over 100 as the x value, right, this is my x value, then I will get here negative 100. So you see, as x approaches to 0, right, so the value of fx that approaches to the what? Very, very big positive number and the big negative number, right? So I can write down here as x approaches to 0, absolute value of fx, right, increases without bound. So that is fx, absolute value of fx approach to infinity as x get closer to 0, as x approach to 0. Okay. So similarly, so what can you observe here is what will happen, like if I have, let's say, the values of x increases without a bound. So that means, let's say I have you guys know the 0 is undefined. F of 0 is undefined. So if I have a 10 here, if I have let's say negative 10 here, then f of negative 10 will be negative 1 over 10, which is negative 0.1, right? So if I have a negative 100 here, it will be 1 over negative 100, right? So what will be this? This will be negative 0.01. And if I have a negative 1000, so 1 over negative 1000, which is negative 1 over 1000, so that will give me negative 0.001. And if I have the very, very large positive values of x, let's say I have a 10 here, and I have a 1 over 10, this is 0.1, I want to increase the value of x. Let's say x is equal to 100. Then I will have a 1 over 100 equals to positive 0.01. And if I have 1000, and it will be 0.001. Now from this table, you can observe as the absolute value of x increases without a bound. Increases without bound. So that means as x approaches to infinity, as x approaches to infinity, then the fx is getting closer to 0, right? Fx gets closer and closer to 0. Sure. So what does that mean? Like as the absolute value of x increases without bound, the graph of fx moves closer and closer to 0. So let me draw the graph here. Let's say this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis, and we know that as the value of x approaches to 0, then fx increases without a bound, so we'll have something like this here. This part is something like this and something like this, right? So, and as the value of x increases without a bound, then our value of fx gets closer and closer to 0, so the graph will be something like this. Something like this. And you see here as the values of x approach to 0, so the fx increases without a bound, right? It goes to positive infinity and it goes to negative infinity. As the value of x is very, very big positive number and big negative number, that means the values of x increases without a bound in both directions. The graph moves closer and closer to x-axis, right? So now therefore, you know the equation of x-axis is y equal to 0. So this is horizontal asymptote. okay? And you also see that as the value of x approach to 0 from both directions, then the graph of the fx, it increased without a bound, you know. So we can say this y-axis, which is the vertical line, and you know the equation of y-axis is x equal to 0 is the vertical asymptote. So this is the vertical asymptote. So if you look at the graph decreases from negative infinity to 0, and it again decreases from 0 to infinity. So the graph decreases on the interval negative infinity comma 0 and 0 comma positive infinity. Okay, and you see the graph is discontinuous at x equal to 0. So this is discontinuous at x equal to 0, and this function is odd function. It is an odd function and symmetric with respect to origin, and symmetric with respect to origin. You can see that from the graph. And if you want to find the range is the state of y values, and you guys know that y value cannot be 0, right? So the range of this function is also the state of non-zero real number, so negative infinity comma 0 union 0 to positive infinity. Okay. Okay, guys.